Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bryony and I am one half of the Indecisive Readers. I apologise in advance in case there's an echo and also for the weird location. I'm in my room which is partway through being decorated, so we're just here. Today I am here to give you 6 recommendations based on the colours in the queer flag. I took a picture of this the other week and thought that might make a fun video, so here we are. I have read, I've read 4 of them. They're not really recommendations, they are just colour recommendations. The first one I have is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This contains a relationship between 2 men. It is between, Patroclus and Achilles. It's a retelling of the Trojan War, but kind of based around these 2 and their kind of, I suppose, influence in the war, what part they played. It was really interesting. It's one of those like tearjerker books, so if you need a book that's gonna make you cry, I'd maybe go for this. I didn't cry, but I'm not a big crier, but I did really enjoy it. It was so beautifully written. I actually preferred it to Circe, which I feel like is maybe controversial. I feel like most people prefer that and I was expecting to, but I did really enjoy this and I would recommend this. The next book I have is The Falling in Love Montage by Keris Smyth. This contains a female-female romance between 2 girls, Ruby and the main character Ciara, along those lines. I don't know a lot about it because I obviously haven't read it, but it sounds like a kind of cute classic YA rom-com where they are falling in love with no strings attached. So I think they just both want to date but don't actually want to date, so they do all the fun parts of the romance without, you know, actually a romance. I think this sounds kind of fun. It sounds almost a bit fake dating and I really like a fake dating romance, so I'm excited to see what this is like when I read it. I think Sam has read it and recommends it, so that's good. I'll probably read it in summer because it feels like a summer book. I did briefly start it in autumn, but I just kind of wasn't in the right mood for it. So I decided to briefly DNF it so I could come back to it when I was in the right mood. The next book I have is The Priory, the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This contains a female-female romance between a lesbian and a bisexual character, as well as a kind of grumpy old gay man who was in a gay relationship, as well as characters that are on the asexual spectrum. There's a lot of kind of queerness in this, which is why everyone seems to know about it. It's like the big gay fantasy book. Definitely recommend this. This is one of my favourite books of all time. It's about a queendom that is starting to fall apart because it all depends on one line of queens having an heir and the current queen doesn't fancy it. So yeah, I definitely recommend. So many people are frightened of the size, so I'd recommend splitting it into 50-page segments, which this is, so I have like the page count if you do want it, or just reading it in 7 parts, 7, 8, 6. It's split into parts and I recommend approaching it not as the whole 800-page beast. The next one I have, picking it up, doesn't actually look green on the cover, so I'll go green by the spine, and that is The Secret Diaries of Miss Anne Lister. I also haven't read this, but I did watch the TV show, or half of it. Maybe I didn't watch it all, but I did watch a part of the TV show and was very interested in it, so I thought I'd pick up her book. I didn't get far into it because it wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't exciting in a TBR video or a recommendation video, but it wasn't a fantasy book, I suppose. It didn't have a story, it was a diary. And so it's one I'm going to come back to, and I think it's one I'm going to read in bits. But I think she was almost quite important to the kind of lesbian movement, and so I feel like reading part of her life and her diary is an important thing to do. The next book I have is Starring Kitty by Keris Stainton. I actually read this for my university course. We were reading middle grade books and they suggested this, and I think when we read it they said it was the only middle grade lesbian novel published in the UK. I feel like more have come out now, but that has stuck with me and so I've kept hold of it. It's about one girl, I think, who realises she's a lesbian and finding another girl who also is. I can't really remember it, but I do remember it being very cute and very sweet, and I just feel like more people should read it because I haven't heard many people talk about it. The final book I have is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I read this last year and it ended up being one of my favourites. This is about a poor black queer girl. So basically all the minorities that are looked down upon, and seeing how she kind of copes with school, navigates school, and navigates trying to become prom queen. It felt like a classic kind of 90s rom-com movie, but with some of the cliches kind of overturned. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters in it and the relationship, and my favourite thing specifically was the first kiss. I loved the first kiss in it and I thought it was wonderful. So yes, there are some recommendations based on the colours in the LGBT plus flag. Let me know if you've read any of them and if you have any other recommendations. Subscribe if you're not already to the channel, like this video if you did, and I will see you in another video. Bye!